So I'm now in the Cold War section of the Saumur Tank Museum. It's getting a bit noisy here. So this is a little mock-up of the Berlin Wall. Dennis, I'm sure you remember all this when you were a double agent for the Russians during the Cold War. Interestingly though, they've got a lump of the wall itself, which I think is quite cool. That'll probably look really weird if you're looking at it. And that's just, it's amazing now to think that we had a Soviet Union and there was the Cold War and a very different world we lived in. I digress. So just going through the exhibits here, we start off quite early with the T-54. We'll come back to the T-34 very shortly because there's one lined up along here. But this is just a little bit of tank development and the expansion of the Russian armoured ideal. So that's a T-54. This is a little bit later. This is a T-54, 55. So this was what was sitting on the other side of the Iron Curtain, and the Russians were producing this stuff in absolute mass. Next up is the T-62. I'm sure you realise with the T range it's all about basically when they were designed, the names. So this is a T-62 and the little sign says it saw service in Afghanistan for the Russians. Then we move on to a number of their armoured vehicles. These are all quite classics. A BMP-1, BRDM-2. And we'll see a common feature with a lot of these vehicles is the design around either these multiple-wheeled chassis. You can see that underneath here. There's a little cheeky set of road wheels there to deal with all of that really crazy kind of terrain they've got in Russia and for expanding into Europe. And now here is the T-34. They obviously still had these on the books for quite some time because they had thousands of them knocking around after the war. Interestingly, at the back here they've got a display of flags that show you who the Soviet Union nations were, and it's really interesting to see when you think about it. They've got Czechoslovakia, Albania, Hungary, East Germany, Poland, Bulgaria, Romania, and that's just a generic Russian flag at the end, but it's quite chilling to think all those countries were once united against the West, comparing where we sit in the world today. But again, maybe I'm overthinking it. So T-34, my favourite Russian bit of armour, but I do like a KV-1 and a KV-2, so I'm a bit conflicted. Some more armoured vehicles here then. So we've got BTR 152, lots of similarities if you look at that with the American half-track, the M3. And again, common theme here, BRT-70 and the, what's that one? I've not heard of that, the Kraz 225B. I thought it was a BRDM. Never mind, maybe they've got different names. So the common theme here is obviously amphibious operations, and we'll see that with some other vehicles as well. So they wanted these things to be able to cross rivers. They wanted these things to be really, really versatile in getting through rough terrain. Interesting one here, I've never seen this before, a BOV-3, so aircraft weapon. A Brûlier SPR-1. Communication or command vehicle with some description, signals element. I remember those aerials when I used to have one for the TV back at New Cross. And look at that looks really uncomfy. An MTLB, probably got quite a lot of people in the back of that, but it wouldn't have been a smooth ride. And you can see the Russians had this concept as well about firing ports, so they wanted you to be able to open a port and fire out of it. This is quite spectacular. This is the, what they call it, RM-70T. So look at that. That's basically like, I think they called it in World War II, I think it's called the Katyusha or something similar. We call it multi-barreled rocket launchers nowadays. So that's just a modern, or I say a modern, Cold War version of just strapping a load of rockets on the back of a truck, really. This is pretty cool. This is the anti-tank, the anti-aircraft. And there's ZSU-23, it's called it. So that's quite an iconic Cold War vehicle, anti-aircraft variant. And then we've got some other stuff. They've got an SP gun here, which is a SAU-122. and PT-76. Again, we go back to the fact that they love that. They love those amphibious light tanks. It's a bit noisy over here, but this is a T-72, a training vehicle, only one of its kind. So it's all stripped down, and it was a training vehicle for new crews, so learning their way around a tank. All quite interesting. Oh, and look at this crazy little Trabant from Berlin. I think that's probably a good place to stop this video with the height of Russian engineering during the Cold War.